Hi, this is Wade Kapszukiewicz, Mayor of the City of Toledo. I'm here today in the beautiful Valentine Theater, participating in the Valentine Theater's Storytime program. And I'm happy to be with you today, and I'm really excited to read a book written by Leo and Diane Dillon called If Kids Ran the World. If Kids Ran the World. Now, some of you might remember that not too long ago we had an election in this country. We elected a president, members of the Senate and Congress and governors and all sorts of people who hopefully will go to Washington, D.C. and make our country a good place. But in that election, only grown-ups were allowed to vote. So this book helps us imagine what the world would be like if kids ran the world. Maybe if kids had a chance to vote in that election. What sorts of things would happen? What would we see in our world, in our country, if kids were in charge? My sense is we might be better off if kids were making the rules and running the world. Because sometimes we grown-ups screw things up. That's for sure. So let's read through this book and see what the world might be like if children ran it. If kids ran the world, we would make it a kinder, better place. One thing I noticed right off the bat is the word we. It says we would make it a kinder, better place. So that gives me the idea that this book is being written by a kid, or at least from the perspective of a kid. In this picture, you see some of the kind things that they're doing. Look at that. They're gardening, being helpful. So that gives us a first early clue of the sorts of things kids would do if they were in charge. Maybe we'd run the world in a big treehouse. Not the White House where the president lives. They want to be in a treehouse. And everybody would be welcome. We'd take care of the most important things. What are the most important things from the perspective of a kid? Well, let's find out. It says, we know people are hungry, so all over the world, everyone would have enough to eat. The food would taste delicious, and it would make people healthy and strong. Kids who had extra food would help bring it to people who needed it. So that's one of the things that kids would do. And look at them go, my goodness. Most of that food is super healthy and good for you, make you grow up big and strong. And that is, look how happy they are to be helping everyone have enough healthy things to eat. There's even someone with a stack of pancakes. This is making me hungry, even thinking about it. Everyone would have a safe place to live. Bad housing would be fixed, and new housing wouldn't ruin the land or sea. You can see everyone is working together to build a house. One of the things I'm already noticing about this book is how much teamwork we see here. Everyone working together like a team, which is excellent. Next page. No matter how sick people were, they would have the medicine they needed. If you were lonely in a hospital, kids would come visit you and let you play with pets. Somebody friendly would help you with a big smile. You know, this year has been a difficult one for a number of people because of the COVID virus. And if you have maybe a grandma or a grandpa or a loved one who can't get out of the house or doesn't want to get out of the house, maybe you should take a lesson from this page and give them a call, say hi, visit over the computer with Zoom or one of those programs, and bring a smile to their face. That would be a wonderful thing to do, just like these children are doing. Everyone would laugh a lot more. We need to laugh more, I can tell you that. Kids would have more picnics and games and funny books and movies. People would spend more time playing and less time worrying. No bullying would be allowed. That's a good one. You could climb trees or dress up and dance and sing just for fun. Kids could act very silly. All children would go to good schools where every teacher was nice and had lots of books, music, and art. Classes would be exciting and fun. Schools would serve yummy meals and have great sports and big playgrounds. Kids would love school. I'm not sure how many of you love school. Maybe you do. I'm sure you have wonderful teachers who are nice and who make class fun and exciting. But it looks like these students are really enjoying themselves. And the teacher is pointing to something called the Bill of Rights, which explains all the rights that we have as American citizens. If you don't know about that, ask your teacher. People could wear any kind of clothes and no one would tease them. Absolutely. That gets back to the no bullying. I love this rule. Children would all live with people who loved them. You bet. Look at all of the different types of people in this picture. Some big, some small, some with dark skin, some with lighter skin, and they're all happy. Look how happy they are when we love each other. You know? That's a lesson I wish that grown-ups would keep in mind sometimes. Grown-ups have a way of screwing things up. That's why we need you to teach us the things that are important in life. And that's what this book is doing. More forests would be planted and protected. Excellent. All the beaches, pools, and parks would belong to everyone. There would be no clubs or places that kept some people out. Friendship, kindness, and generosity would be worth more than money. Well, first of all, that is absolutely true. And that's another thing that grown-ups, I think, get confused about and sometimes have forgotten. Sometimes grown-ups think that money's the most important thing in the world. Nope. That's not the most important thing. These kids know the truth that friendship, kindness, and generosity are so much more important than money. People would take care of the planet and animals and plants. Nobody would throw trash on the ground or in the ocean or make the air dirty. That's a good lesson. Look at all these children doing wonderful things. Uh-oh, look over here. I think that's a dolphin. But what is in the water making life miserable for that dolphin? Looks like some litter. Someone threw a bottle in there. But luckily the kids are scooping it out and look inside their boat. Look at all the garbage they scooped out of the water. Excellent. People would have religious freedoms, and nobody would punish them or call them names. Everyone would learn the happiness of being thankful. Even if they were busy, people would remember to stop to see the beauty of a sunset or a rainbow. All over the world, people would feel safe with one another. Wouldn't that be beautiful? This is another area where I think grown-ups screw it up sometimes. And we need lessons from children to remind us how things ought to be. What do I notice about this picture? Well, I notice that the sun has a big smile on his face. I wonder if that's a metaphor. I'm not sure if you know about metaphors, but ask your teacher what a metaphor is. I think the fact that the sun is smiling and appears to be so happy is trying to teach us something. But I also see a bunch of friends holding hands, hugging each other, and look at them. They're all very different, you know. They look like they could be from different parts of the world. They're different colors, different shapes and sizes, some boys, some girls. Look what they're wearing on their heads, some of them. Some of those are religious symbols. So the boy in the middle is wearing a little round thing on the back of his head called a yarmulke or a kippah. That means he's Jewish. I see a couple women wearing some head scarves and head dresses that lead me to believe maybe they are Muslim or Hindu. The point is, I'm sure they believe different things, they're all different religions, but they all love each other. No one is excluded. No one is being made fun of. No one is seen as being dangerous or unfriendly. Everyone is happy together. People would live in peace together. No more hate. Everybody would learn how to forgive. Look how happy everyone is on this page. Even the earth is happy. Look at the big smile on the earth. If kids ran the world, would these things be possible? Yes, we think so. Because kids know that everyone can learn to share. Kids know how to try to do their very best. And kids know that the most important thing in the world isn't money or being king or queen or pushing other people around. It's love, giving it, sharing it, showing it. And that's why if kids ran the world, we'd make it a wonderful place for everyone to live, grown-ups too. And the point there is that sometimes the grown-ups don't get it right. Sometimes the grown-ups make mistakes. They forget the lessons of this book. So when kids run the world, part of what they have to do is to remind grown-ups like me, people my age and older, the important lessons of life. And that's the end. This book was based on two speeches given by a president we had a long time ago named Franklin Roosevelt. He gave a speech about the four freedoms, is what he called it. And a lot of the themes of this book are based on the speech he gave. When he was president, we were in a time in our country where a lot of people didn't have very much money, and they were hungry, didn't have good housing. A lot of folks were sick and out of work. It was called the Great Depression. And shortly thereafter, we went into a war. The whole world was at war. And he was president during both of those times. And I think the themes you read about in this book, if you can understand what President Roosevelt was dealing with when he was president, you understand why the focus are on things like love and happiness and togetherness and sharing, and not on money and fancy things like that. It's because the people, not quite 100 years ago, they didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of fancy things. And so what the President of the United States was trying to do then was to remind people of what's really important. And that's what he did way back when he was president. And in its own way, that's what this book does to all of us here living today. So I hope you enjoyed the book. I hope you do a good job living the themes of this book, and I hope you do a good job teaching the grown-ups in your lives the important lessons of this book, because sometimes grown-ups are the ones who forget. Thank you very much. I enjoyed reading with you today.